How did you do? What did you do?
I think Oh, that's right. I won all of them.
Well, what is up, everybody, and welcome into the Winner's Lounge.
Lasers for those guys.
We got a Winner's Lounge, guys, and it's an uneven Winner's Lounge. It's fun. It feels good. It is an empty bar. It's a little weird also.
It is very weird. No Dev either, too.
No, it's really nice. Yeah, it's really nice. It was an interesting game. There's fun stuff to talk about. There's weird stuff to talk about. There's a little bit of maybe stuff up for debate to talk about. So it's a full Winner's Lounge. We got everything.
Controversy.
As always, we're presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR whenever you sign up. You might win money, you might lose money, but you'll have fun, as we do all of the time. I didn't check my bets, but I think I went like 2 for 4.
Did you have fun though?
I did have fun. So I think I probably came up like even or down $1 or $2. Well, or a unit or two. Sorry, excuse me, a unit or two.
Well, listen, I just hope you all listen to me on those Barton over 1.5 threes.
That was the fastest.
And I hope that no one listened to me on my stone cold lock of MPJ hitting over 2.5 threes when in fact he hit 0.
He did hit 0. Anyway, guys, I'm of course joined by Brendan Vogt.
Oh, that's right. I haven't been on the show in ages, it feels like. It's good to be back.
I never noticed. Harrison, whenever he missed like 5 in a row, he's like, man, I haven't been here. And I was like, oh, I feel like you have, because we talk all the time. I just never know. Right. And then over here, I got D-Line Co.
What's up, guys? I'm here all the time.
You are here all the time.
I don't know a lot going on in my life. Okay, well, Adam's...
really listening with having an effect here.
I don't care for what just happened at all.
Nuggets get the win tonight against the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers coming in late today, getting in and arriving in Denver, I believe, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They had to, do all their testing. They didn't get their daily nap in, all of those different things. It wasn't a back-to-back. But they get outscored, the Pacers do, 34-15 in that fourth quarter, and that is the difference in this ball game. Brendan Vogt, where do you want to start with this one tonight? What's your big takeaway?
Well, hey, that was a bench game, wasn't it? And the bench really turned the tide of the game in the second half. I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time talking about those minutes from Facundo Campazzo. Nice to see Jermichael Green back, 4 for 6 from 3. Feels like a lifetime since we've seen him knock down some catch-and-shoot threes because he hasn't played. And then PJ Dozier cleans up, which started out as a rough night with ultimately a good performance. Jokic a -9. I think the bench carried them to a win tonight, guys.
Yeah, what do you
think? Couldn't agree more. First off, the chat is a little distracted by the raw sex that Brendan's putting out with his bare ankle.
Just the ankle, baby.
Ooh, a little ankle showing? Wow.
2021. Not afraid to show a little skin.
You realize there's like 2 feet of snow on the ground? You went ankleless socks?
Well, every time I wear my boots on this show, I get bullied.
You're going to get bullied no matter what you wear, bro.
I'm learning that.
What a weird game, man. It
was a weird game.
It was just like it was nothing. It was nothing but like improbable runs by the teams just trading off.
I mean, when you think it's just a game of runs out there. When you think about it,
I know it's not supposed to mean like 20-0, 20.
There really was a lot of runs.
It was absurd, and like the refereeing in this game was super bizarre. In that, normally you're like, man, they were all over calling BS fouls, and it was like, dude. Blow the whistle. What is going on?
They either had the under or they were trying to get home, but that was not a blow the whistle.
Crazy. That was a crazy game. I don't know what to make of that. Barton came out, was the best player I've ever seen in my entire life.
For 10 minutes.
And then Barton came out and was the worst player I've ever seen in my entire life. And there was just no in between. That was this game. Just no in between. It was hot or cold. That was
he had a couple big shots late. So really Barton, the first 4 and last 3 minutes of the game was very good.
Yes.
Very, very good. Incredible, you might even say.
Unbelievable.
Do you guys remember when the Nuggets were up 12? And I'm going to take you guys back because one of the bets that Eric had as a stone cold lock was Nuggets in the first quarter, 1.5 points.
Dude,
this was a bad
They're up. And
it was the right call.
I bring this up because this is actually how the game went. You're talking about the game of runs, Eric, but the Nuggets are up, I think, 12 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, with like a minute and a half.
It was maybe like 3 minutes because I remember looking at the clock and being like, bro, come on, they could collapse. Because Eric goes, man, my first quarter bet hit. That feels good. Or something like that.
No, I said it's looking good.
And then it just proceeded to be like the worst series of events possible. Denver, 32-32 in that first quarter. And I thought I could have swore to God they were going to be up 10. And it just felt like from that moment on, the game was just like, it was just weird. Like
so weird.
It couldn't really get a foothold.
Denver actually had 2 separate. They had a 20-2 run in the first half, and then a 22-2 run to close the game, with then, obviously Pacers closing the gap somewhere in between. So really, really weird night. I do think a little bit in the fourth, everything we talked about with Indiana coming into the game reared its head a little bit, and they ran out of steam.
Can we start? And part of this is because of our brethren in Argentina who have stayed up extremely late. I don't even know what time it is out there. Probably 2:00 in the morning in Buenos Aires. But if we could start there, not because I think he was maybe the most important player or this or that, in a vacuum, but a random Tuesday night. Is it Tuesday? No, it's Monday. A random Monday in March, just random regular season games. You got to celebrate the small things. Yeah. No pun intended.
All the small
and tonight
things.
was an absolutely entertaining and fun Facundo Campazzo game, and meaningful too. It wasn't as a sideshow. He really, I thought, brought the energy of that second unit when they desperately needed it, and made some plays that we were chuckling with.
The spark off the bench energy stuff is real with Facu. It's not lazy analysis.
Right.
It's actually the top thing you would point to.
Yep.
And so when you got a game like this where there's just a whole stretch where it seems like no one wants to be on the court in a Nuggets uniform, I mean, just add Facu, just add water, and you've got a competitive outfit again. Only 2 steals, but it felt like he was responsible for 6 in the fourth quarter.
So many deflections.
Yeah, he was
hilarious
incredible.
plays.
I thought he changed the tide of that game. He may not be the best player, but in arguably the most important moment of the game, he turned it on.
And we talk about haymakers, big runs. Some of the reason for those big runs were those momentum plays.
Sure,
is that what I think you're alluding to? It's not just you look at the box score and say 2 steals. Well, there's steals that lead to momentum shifting fast breaks or stopping defensive stops.
He pokes one loose. Barton picks up the loose ball. Passes it out to Facu in the corner, who makes the extra pass to PJ, who dunks it.
Yeah.
And it's that's good basketball. That's the highlight play. That's the defense to offense.
And it's demoralizing if you're Indiana.
Exactly.
Yeah, Facu had a few of those where he poked it out into the open court and just led to an all-out fast break by the Nuggets, odd man rush. Yeah. And just, I mean, truly, it just energized me watching the game. I was like, let's go. I was feeling a little down. Maybe a little too much pizza for telling the truth here. But then, it's I don't know how you can I see a lot of people from time to time just rule out the idea of Facu, and it's I don't know how you can deny what that man brings, especially on a night like tonight where just everything is dead. Just an absolute jump start to this game. It was so fun to watch.
I mean, it's funny because he's going up against his Eastern Conference counterpart in TJ McConnell, his American counterpart.
Dude.
And he what would you call try-harded.
He tried harder.
He did try harder.
He out-tinied.
He out-tiny kinged him. No, he was great to watch tonight. And again, I think with Campazzo, he does have up and down games, and he does have some games where you're man, he's just his height or whatever it is really costing you. But tonight was not one of them. It was the exact opposite. And it's funny, if you go through his stat line tonight, he had 0 points on 0 of 3 shooting. He had 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 turnover, but he did have, of course, 6 assists. But again, it wasn't about the box score tonight. It was about all the other stuff and just the energy that he injected into it. And I think that's why he was a near team high plus 16, even though he only played 22 minutes.
Chet, como se dice intangibles? He brings some intangibles to this game.
He does bring some intangible. I can't wait for you to. That was very good. I can't wait for you to get it in the chat here. Alongside, and it's funny, we usually start with the starters. There are some things to talk about with them, but his counterpart on the Nuggets roster is PJ Dozier, and we've talked a lot about those two guys competing for minutes as backup point guard or backup whatever. I thought both of them had very strong games tonight in different ways. Facu with that energy and hustle. PJ Dozier, I thought, started the game with 7 straight of my least favorite types of plays from him, where he's being just too aggressive and he's calling his own number and dribbling through traffic and this or that, and it didn't go well. But once he settled down, I thought he also had a huge impact on this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. First half was it was a tale of 2 halves. The first was an exhibition of the exact reasons why we're probably not there with PJ yet. And then the second half was a great exhibition of why we talk about PJ every show, because that guy can play some defense.
Dozier's, man, I'm telling you, I really like PJ Dozier. and this is so similar to what we were talking about with Aaron Gordon early on, of like, he can be the perfect player. And I think PJ Dozier is the same with this. Like, not to bring this all the way back to Aaron Gordon, but if you just added PJ Dozier and Aaron Gordon fully optimized for what Denver needs, which I think is also fully optimized for what will make them hang around in the NBA for a long time, then those players are ideal. It's just that with PJ Dozier, you sprinkle in a little too much of the other stuff, but nonetheless, tonight he mostly was good. 25 minutes from him, he gets 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and was a game-high plus 18. A game-high plus 18 off the bench for PJ Dozier.
The other funny thing is, like, for everything it's 3 of 5 from the field.
Yeah.
So there's a couple. There's a Barton effect here. There are some loud issues. But
there's
I don't think it's that,
about,
though.
There's been about 5 games now where PJ Dozier has been the absolute plus-minus champ. Like, he had that plus 31.
Oh, that's right.
Like, there's something. I mean, he's doing.
It's
something
capturing
out there.
something.
He is doing something out there to disrupt, to enable, to facilitate. It's not just scoring, and probably it has a lot to do. He comes out playing defense, and he comes out with just the same sort of energy. Not obviously to the same level of Facu, but he just brings a little something off the bench. I like that composure.
I like that composure as well. And it was cool to see him and Campazzo together. One thing that they both do, I mean, Campazzo, we laugh because when he's closing out on a corner or something, we laughed at one point because he tags the roller and then cuts out to the corner, and he probably took 14 steps. Like Giannis, it's like a half shuffle, and he closes out from one of the two. Like Campazzo gets those arms going, he's playing so hard, and it's he gives 100% at all times. But Dozier, I think, is more of the he's pretty technically sound, I think, on the defensive end, in that he really sees ahead. He sees what's going on the court. He rotates into position. He's so long. He's got that great reach. And, tonight at least, I thought the two of them together, and you can disrupt a lot. And you saw a lot of that disruption, especially in that fourth quarter when Indiana, I think they had 7 points with like 2 minutes to go in the fourth. Yeah.
The PJ, composure he doesn't have a lot of wasted movement.
Yeah, that's true.
He's just sort of like, he has like a predatory.
Yeah, very much so.
Nature about him. And so, I think a lot of that translates to his defensive prowess, but it helps him all over the court.
But I think that's part of seeing, this is what I mean about defensively seeing ahead, is there's not a lot of wasted movement when you know where you're supposed to be and everything. It's like, I'm about to have to go from here to here.
Right.
Now, go, and I'm there. So.
I've just always found it funny how some guys can read the game, the court, so well on one end of the court, and then it's a bit adventure on the other. I mean, I know it's two different. It's just interesting.
See, the thing is I think Dozier sees the court really well offensively. It's just that in his mind, he's Chris Paul.
The conclusions he draws from what he looks at is like, yeah.
I'm telling you, it's a tough thing. Like, if you think about PJ, and here's where this is one of the hidden truths about the NBA. PJ Dozier, if he was a top 10 pick, I mean, some team would be force-feeding him everything right now, and there'd be this or that. When you go undrafted, it's like you constantly feel like you have to prove yourself, and you go to the G League and average 30 points. You're like, look what I can do. And I just think, I don't know how you get this through. I don't know if it's the people that are in his ear, meaning his agent or family members or whoever it is that is advising him. I don't know if it's them that can sort of shed the light on. I don't know if it's the coaching staff or whatever. And maybe I'm wrong on this from a financial standpoint, but I really feel like if he just committed to being the elite version of what Denver needs from him, that's going to be like every team needs that.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, you're thinking about it from the basketball standpoint, unfortunately, instead of the financial standpoint, which is, of course, what the NBA is all about.
I just don't think PJ Dozier is going to have a shoe deal. That's what I'm getting at. Like, sometimes you have to be like, what? I'm not going to be that guy, but I can be really good at this other guy.
Makes him a Denver Nugget, right?
Yeah, makes him a Denver Nugget. We can go back to the starting lineup tonight. We talk about plus-minus. We talked about PJ Dozier. Let's start with Jokic, Mr. Plus-minus. Wait a second, he's a -9.
This is the most confusing stat of all of the stats.
It's kind of is, but kind of not. So I put this out on Twitter and immediately felt bad for it. Jokic tonight, I thought, had a bad game. I almost. Well, what I mean is relative to him. I think what I said was this might have been the third worst game he's had of the season. He's had two bad games. 32. He's had two bad games. He had the first Lakers game, the Atlanta Hawks game. Those are his only bad games. This one might have been my third least favorite. He goes for 32 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, 1 block shot. Shooting wasn't great. And also in the fourth quarter, he just like Michael Jordan did. It was like, all right, fourth quarter. Miles Turner blocked my shot like 6 times tonight. He's kind of got the better, or, he's made me work harder than usual. And then fourth quarter, he's like, all right, I'm going to try a little bit, and just completely dominated.
I did think, though, he was there defensively for 4 quarters.
Yeah, that's a good point.
3.5. 4 steals, you'll see it in the box score. But, yeah, I just thought you could tell he wanted to win the game on that end, which is, not always the case for Jokic, so that was nice. And, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too, man. On the rare occasion that he's not playing well through 3 quarters, how poorly does he have to be playing for you to lack confidence about him in the clutch?
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
It is absolutely impossible for me to not think like, all right, well, it's 4th quarter now, so Jokic will just doesn't matter what happened before this.
And, for all of our hand-wringing, 44% from the floor, 50% from 3, 80 from the line. Pretty good night statistically.
The 2 of 4 from 3 is huge. And, again, in the 4th quarter, knocking down. I don't remember if both were in the 4th quarter. They were both in the 4th quarter, I think.
I don't know if
I don't remember, but I know at least the one with 1 second on the shot clock was just a total like nail in the coffin. There's a game of runs, and that was one of those ones where it's like, runs are over, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Runs are over.
Yeah, the final run.
The final run is here, and we won. So thank you for playing hard. What did you make of his game, though, tonight, Eric?
Jokic is just again, like the word that always comes to mind when you're describing Jokic's games is just workmanlike. Like he just did what had to be done when it needed to be done. He was like, didn't want to carry the scoring burden, but he was like, all right, fine, I'll shoot it. I'll give it to me in the key. I'll do this weird little shot that I've now absolutely perfected. And he just did, when things were looking down, like Jokic stepped up as he always does. It's hard to say that he had a bad game, but it was just so uneven, as was everybody's game.
I just think one thing that happened that we're having a hard time grasping because it never happens. Miles Turner did a very, very good job on him defensively.
Dude, he was blocking his shots, man.
Sometimes Jokic verges on losing sight of who the opponent is. Like, is it the team in front of me or is it the referees? And like he's playing instead of the flow of the game and all that. Tonight, I didn't think he did a ton of complaining. The ball got knocked loose from his hands. He had his shots blocked, and he was just kind of clapping at himself, hyping at himself. I think he knew that Turner in some ways was getting the better of him, and then of course, classic Yoke fashion, he turns it on when it matters. But I thought Turner was great tonight. One
thing that's kind of low-key funny is we just talked about his defense and the 4 steals, the 1 block shot. Like the numbers were there. By far the worst defensive rating on the team. Jokic 138. Well, there
you go.
Nobody else even remotely close. 122, I think, the closest. But
turns out I'm wrong.
Sometimes guys hit shots or what have you. But it was a weird game from Jokic. But again, he's like, it's weird to say he's earned these because it was still a really good game. Like he's still the best player on the court. But you just thought maybe he would dominate a little bit more individually. But we have to go to king of the game now. And we just talked about Jokic's 32 points.
I'm so ready for
surely it is him. Oh no, bring out the pitchforks. We did not give it to Jokic.
My tiny body is ready.
We gave it to a guy with 0 points? What's going on here? Oh my goodness. We didn't even put stats on there because the stats are like
0 points.
The best part about the Tiny King, look at his tiny little crown.
Oh,
if you take into consideration what that normally looks like on one of these photos, that's the smallest crown that's ever been made.
Kale, is that his head? Did you Photoshop his head? No. What is going on with his head there? Do you guys see that? Like the little haircut? Like there's like a hole
it's
in
a little weird. And then how about that dribble just coming all the way up?
The dribble is so high.
That's incredible.
It's so bad.
I think this was a pass.
This was a pass?
Okay.
All right.
Or I think this was the gather for him to go up and miss a shot.
Campazzo was awesome
tiny
tonight.
king of the game. I love this decision.
He was the tiny king of the game for sure. The tiny king.
Look at
that. All right, let's hit our first break, guys. When we come back, we do have to talk about, I think one of the emerging storylines with this team is just where, guys are hurt right now. But Paul Millsap starts at power forward. Michael Porter starts at small forward. It's been a little bit clunky. I want to talk about the clunkiness of that and where Denver goes from here, or if we need to be concerned about where they go from here. We'll do that on the other side.
We've got some reads queued up, but super producer Kale, why don't we hit that Zoom Care read first?
So what exactly is video care? Well, video care is like a trip to Zoom Care, just from your couch. You can see, hear, and chat with your doctor, just like a traditional in-office visit. Get secure access to urgent, primary, and specialist care, including mental health. It's all from the comfort of your own home. Video care is covered by most private insurers, usually with a copay. Head to zoomcare.com/video to get started.
Let's talk Celsius. Breckenridge Brewery is finally introducing their seltzer line. We tried it already.
Many people are calling them boozies.
Many people are calling them boozies.
No one on earth is calling them
I think it's
boozies.
just Adam. Some people in the Discord were saying that they'll never call it a boozy.
And you know who
that
I
counts.
respect? Certainly not Adam. It's those people
It's
in the
those
Discord.
people.
Well, you guys, somebody's going to end up saying it. It's going to feel good, and they're going
No,
to
it
hate
does- it
themselves
feels
because you guys.
bad,
I'm
dude.
telling you,
If you're
I'm telling you, it feels
confused,
so good
we're
to call
talking
them
about
boozy.
Breck Brew's hard
Boozy,
seltzers.
baby.
They come in a beautiful Jokic 15-pack. They got apple pear, cherry,
my favorite,
peach,
apple
berry,
pear.
and honey dew. Head to the
Honey dew's
Breck
pretty
Beer
good, too.
locator. See where the closest 15-pack of Breck seltzers is to you. Pick one up. We all had one over this last month. We all think they're great. And we're not lying about that either. How about that? The farmhouse is open. It's socially distanced, beautifully set up for dining outside. If you're more comfortable at home, you can still order curbside pickup from 12 to 8 p.m. Order delicious food and booze from the farmhouse. If you're able, call 303-803-1380. That's 303-803-1380 from 12 to 8 p.m. for pickup. Use code DNVR to save $5.
Good stuff. Little transition over. You ready? Wow, look at you.
The Colorado Hawks is a nonprofit organization helping athletes from all over Colorado achieve their dreams of
big
playing
for the
sports at the
C.
next level and earning college scholarships. The Hawks produce high-level athletes in boys and girls basketball and soccer. Doing a read, Eric. And most importantly, this is an affordable program that has never turned an athlete away due to costs. The Colorado Hawks program prides itself on keeping kids off the streets and helping underprivileged youth earn opportunities they might not get otherwise.
Make me look big.
One way you can support them, guys, head to YokicForMVP.com. They've got a great high-quality shirt that says, Eric, you want to guess what it says?
It says Jokic for MVP. It's
He
a
might win it.
fantastic shirt. We all have them. We love them. I love this. I love this little deal we've got going. Like,
It's great, man. And the stock is
great-
high. The
yeah.
stocks are high. Push the propaganda. We need you. The Hawks need you. Head to YokicForMVP.com and grab that shirt.
Grab it indeed. All right, back here, guys. Segment 2 here, the DNVR Nuggets podcast. A little bit later in the show, Harrison Wind, live from Ball Arena. He's going to be checking in, letting us know what's happening down there, what Michael Malone had to say. Who do you think talks today? Jokic? Will Barton, maybe?
we can see him talking.
There
on
he is,
TV,
right there.
so
Will
I'm
Barton
gonna
is
guess
talking.
he says.
Right there it is. So it's probably him. Maybe Campazzo. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a Campazzo. It'd be great to get a little Facu news. I could use a little Facu. Let's talk about Will Barton tonight. I mean, we mentioned him a little bit, but if we, health has been an issue for him. As you might say, Eric, legs have been an issue for him.
Legs have been an issue.
Coming out of the All-Star break, though, you're starting to see a little bit more pep in his step. Now, tonight was a little bit of a weird night from Will Barton. 6 of 16, not very efficient, although 5 of 7 from 3 more than makes up for, that efficiency. And he gives you 20 points on 16 shots, so not the worst. He also was a team high plus 18. But I don't want to ask just about this game. I want to ask more. And look, the trade deadline's like 9 days away, where he's first name that comes to mind for everybody. But just, it seems like he is starting to play the best basketball of his season, at least from a physical standpoint.
No question. There's absolutely no question. And it's funny because he actually puts you into a place where you have a reliable, which is funny to say with Will Barton, the way that this season has gone. Like, he's been a very reliable fourth scorer. Sometimes, I mean, and it's not a coincidence. I mean, well, maybe it is, but the way that he's been scoring it, he always comes out hot. Like, Harrison was like telling us to take Will Barton to be the first bucket getter of the game, and he did it again tonight.
Yeah.
He's just, there's something about like he comes out ready to go out of the gate, and he's been delivering. And then these Barton games, he comes out so hot, and then he just falls back, and then he gets hot again, falls back. But you see shades of old Will, and you understand like people that are maybe new to watching the Nuggets that just sort of like hate Will Barton because he hasn't been the Will Barton that we've all known and loved for so many years. You sort of see shades of what it is that made us fall in love with Will Barton and like why he has the name, the people's champ. Like, I'll always go back to this. Like, nobody who sucks at basketball has a cool nickname. Like, Greg Whittington doesn't have a cool nickname. Like,
I bet that's not true. I bet you there's a handful of players.
Hartenstein doesn't have a cool nickname. Like,
Fact
but
check
it's
us
Hard
there in
Rock.
the comment section.
But we gave him, but like he's not like
And it's also
commonly
not
known,
that cool.
not commonly
That's
known
true.
as the people's champ.
The
right?
people's champ. Well, first of all, he named himself the
But
people's
it was
champ. Yeah, but
that
it is
went
great.
from multiple places. Like, we all adopted and agreed.
Yeah, that's true. He is the people. It's funny because he's not the people's champ here for whatever reason. It's very sad.
6 for 16 from the field, but 5 of 7 from deep tonight, continuing. I'd call it a trend, but at this point, it's really been the vast majority of his season where he's a very reliable catch and shoot option. He had 5 assists tonight too and 6 rebounds. So, I mean, like, to get a guy who's like your fourth option, who's a catch and shoot threat, can put the ball on the floor, isn't afraid to attack the glass. Like, these are all good things, man. I mean, you can point to a lot of ways in which Barton in the starting lineup works. It's not a coincidence they're winning games with him playing better. It's just such a tricky thing because the things that he's not good at, his deficiencies at his position, are glaring on this team right now based off the way the roster is constructed. Yeah. So there's going to be trade talk because he's not the defender they need on the wing. But lately, for about a month now, offensively, he's been who they need him to be.
Yeah. The other player tonight, Jamal Murray, 16 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. He goes 6 of 13, 8 assists. 3 of 5 from the three-point line, including an incredible 180. Catches the ball like that's Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is a weird one because sometimes you get the wide open 3 and you're like, I don't know. On that shot where he catches it backwards and just spins right into a 3-pointer, we both were like, oh yeah, that's in.
Yo, when he gets the inertia going and he gets like spins and he comes off screens and he has action going into it, it's like cash every time you know it. But yeah, if he's by himself on an island, has time to think about it, it's like a 50-50 proposition, which I guess would put him at a 50% free 3-point shooter, which is good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. He had some really, really good looking shots tonight, and I thought he actually had a really good game. And more to the point, it was a bounce-back game.
Yep.
I mean, it was 2 games in a row where he looked frustrated. We had, of course, Harrison Wynn's courtside report tonight from the pregame where he was saying that he looked relaxed. I thought Murray looked relaxed out on the court today, too. And I mean that. Like, there had been a stress over him. I mean, remember
Byron!
Guys, Byron.
Are these scheduled tips?
They might be.
We have a couple other super chats we should probably acknowledge at some point. But gosh dang it, Byron.
The homie Byron throwing us some $50
Jokic
here.
Season he's having here.
No, Jokic.
Byron for MVP.
But staying on track here, guys, with Murray, to me, like the 16 points was only because that's what was needed from him tonight. I thought he could have given even more, but more to the point, I don't know if we can call it 2 games. I guess it is a slump, 2-game slump he was in.
Yeah,
I feel like the slump is over, and I feel like he's back to playing how we expect.
3 things I love seeing. I mean, he got to the rim a couple times tonight. You love to see that. There's this way that he gets to the rim when he's playing well that it's identifiable, right? He looks different physically. You're like, that was fast. That was explosive. Saw a little bit of that tonight. 3 of 5 from deep. You love to see that again. And then before the game, Malone talked about challenging him to make an impact even when the shot's not falling, even when he's not scoring. 6 rebounds, including 3 on the offense end and 8 assists. That's a complete game from a guy who I think for the most part looked at the game and had an understanding of what was required of him.
Yeah. Can I address a comment here that Kale just brought up from Miroslav Djokovic here? A super chat saying, you guys forgetting that Facu was a player before the NBA. A lot of people might say a great player. First of all, like, no, here's the thing, and I know people that watch a lot of European basketball. I know he's from South America. I'm saying we play in the European leagues, right? In the European leagues. A lot of people, they take offense to this. The NBA is a different league than every other league. I think it's a much better, like the athleticism, the talent, and everything else. And that's not to say that there's not a lot at those other leagues. But then also, I think as maybe some first-time NBA viewers are watching, maybe people that haven't always tuned into the NBA are learning that this 82-game season, I know it's only 72 this year, it's just different, man. It's a different beast. There's different rhythms and different ebbs and flows. So I don't think anybody, especially on this panel, is underestimating the talent Facu has. It's just that the talent of the NBA is so absurdly high.
It's not – we don't question the man's heart, but you just don't know what's going to translate. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Facu, quite small. And sometimes heart can only take you so far. Although with Facu, it looks like it's taking him all the way. Like he definitely has what it takes. Although I will say, like, it's not an everyday night proposition for him.
Sure. But bench players, how many bench players are an everyday? Sure. That's the thing about it is, like, you just need contributions from a few guys. You expect Jokic to be great every night, and he pretty much is. As much as anybody in the NBA, Jokic brings it every single night at a MVP caliber.
I would call him the MVP.
He might be the most, like, consistently great player.
He is the most valuable player.
Jamal Murray has been a little bit up and down, but he brings it pretty much most of the time,
right?
At least to a certain level, and then there's nights where he's superstar level. Then you just need to get contributions from a few other guys. Tonight that was Facu, and I mean, at 100% won the game for him. So I think that's how you look at it. But we got to move on to this other.
One more super chat to catch up on real quick. This one's fast.
Okay.
We used Barton's hot streak to acquire Aaron Gordon. We talked about that in the pregame show, Kenneth. So go watch that.
Okay, yeah, using it. I mean, look, I don't. I always think this is funny when people are like, oh, he had a good game, trade him now, like as if people will be like, well, I didn't like him.
Now I'll take
but he had one good game, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw out the 9 years Barton has in the NBA to analyze this one game.
Go ahead.
But there is something to momentum.
I was going to say, this is not one game. This is just another point on the graph that's just going upwards, right? Like
some lowlights in there, but
but like the general trajectory is going up for Barton.
Agreed.
I think his value is absolutely going up, and I don't know. I mean,
I just want to take 30 seconds, guys, to talk about JaMychal Green, because we've forgotten what it's like to have a healthy, good JaMychal Green. 18 minutes tonight, 6 of 10 from the field, 4 of 6 from deep. And I thought some very, very good defense on Turner.
Oh, yeah. He had a couple blocks, frustrated him.
Like, not everyone to start, but just like rotation guys. JaMychal Green's a quality player. Getting him back, I think it's a big deal.
4 of 6 from 3 is pretty crazy, man, from your stretch your stretch power forward, backup power forward. And by the way, that bench tonight, really just a 4-man bench. They did go with Hartenstein in that first half for 4 minutes, and he was a positive. I mean, Hartenstein's a funny one because, he does wind up in the positive as much as anybody, but my God, does it look awkward. I mean, he had the alley-oop that hit his feet. It was awkward. He had like a layup that I think hit the underside of the backboard. Like, he just has weird plays.
I gotta say, like, my least favorite player in all of sports is the player that sucked to watch, but then you get explained to later was actually good. You're like, but that was terrible. I didn't enjoy any of it. Like, I don't care if like later on it was revealed to me that it was good. Like,
this is why I love Eric, is because he like, everybody has different parts of their brain working to analyze sports, and his like the id is like, he's like, I just don't like watching him.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I don't understand how most people watch sports. To me, it is like supposed to be dumb. It's supposed to be fun. It is supposed to be a place that you put weird emotions, and you're not supposed to think about it as a science experiment or as a math problem.
Speaking of science experiments,
you could be smart about it, which I appreciate, but I don't understand like when people only live there. Anyway, go ahead.
So
to you, Adam.
The 2 players we haven't really talked about, and I saved them specifically for right now, is Michael Porter Jr. and Paul Millsap. And Michael Porter tonight goes for 20 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. He goes 9 of 15 shooting, which is pretty good. 0 of 4 from the 3-point line, which I'm surprised by. Paul Millsap, on the other hand, gets 6 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists in his 25 minutes. The Nuggets really had established what I think is a nice rhythm, playing small. And I'm not saying that they have to play small or that they only have to do this. The way the roster is constructed, I really do think that Michael Porter is going to have to play a lot of small forward, and he's going to have to play some minutes alongside of Paul Millsap. But I think it's pretty clear that Jamal Murray, that Michael Porter Jr., and really the Nuggets offense as a whole plays better when they have Porter spacing the floor. And I'm actually working, a little teaser here, working on a video tomorrow. We just hired a new video guy. Shouts to Aaron. Very excited. Going to be filming a brand new video. We're going to put it up on YouTube. You guys are going to like it. Talking about the integration of Michael Porter into the Jokic-Murray. I've gone through the film for the last couple days. We're going to talk about every single play the Nuggets run on their playbook that involves those 3 guys. So be looking for that. Maybe it's ready tomorrow. Maybe it's ready Wednesday. But I'm very excited to share it with you guys. But
like, you introduced the idea of Aaron, and you've already given him a hot deadline. Everyone's breathing down his throat. Where's this video, Aaron?
Taking a while is all I'm saying. It's really
it's not a great start.
Might be tomorrow, might be, who knows?
Yeah,
so you tell us, Aaron.
You tell us. But one of the reasons, not to give too much away, but one of the reasons that Michael Porter really works for this Nuggets offense at the 4 is that 4s have to guard him, and that he is most deadly from that left wing. And what happens when you draw it up, and going back to the previous, not this game against Indiana, but the previous one, is that you draw his defender, which most of the time was Sabonis, up to the top of the wing, and you can't leave him. Who's your rim protector? Miles Turner's out guarding Jokic, so he's like on ball. But behind him, it's Holiday.
Sure.
It's Brogdon, it's whoever. And you do that over and over and over again, and Jamal Murray starts getting to the rim. Jokic starts getting to the rim. Everybody, the cuts are wide open. Monte Morris is back cutting and getting easy layups. And playing Paul Millsap there, for whatever reason, seems to take a lot of, actually, I know for a lot of reasons, but seems to take a lot of that punch and that the teeth off of Denver offensively.
Important update from Harrison post-game. Malone did clarify that when healthy, Monte is starting at point guard and MPJ is starting at the 4 moving forward.
Are you mic'd up, or are people just...
That was mic'd up.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I was going to say, I don't want to have to reiterate all of that. Good work, Kale. That is a good detail. I can't wait. I'm sure when Harrison joins, we're going to talk about that, because I think it was a mystery, but I think it's clear to anybody that's watching that, it's not that I don't want to say it's a problem. Paul Millsap's given the Nuggets a lot of great years, and I think he has a role on this team even now. We saw that, but I do wonder, even I as much as I love once Monte's back or Gary's back, that you go back to that, but part of me thinks, like, why not do it now? I feel like you can play. You can still bring in other players.
So right now, roster as is, like, what does that look like? Do you slide Facu up? Is it PJ
I think either one of those guys you could make a case for and check it out. The numbers with Campazzo, by the way, with the big three are like absurd. I think they have like a 150 offensive rating in their minutes together. So like that has worked so far. But I just think that it's stylistically, it's your identity. I mean, the Nuggets have an identity that they are working towards. And when you put Paul Millsap in there, it just changes the identity in a way. And again, I don't think this game came down. There were so many other things that happened, but I do just wonder. We are almost 2/3 into the season. We're over the halfway point. What is Denver building towards? I think you do. This is the point where identity becomes even more important, and building towards that identity becomes bigger key.
Well, I think that what they're building towards is the identity of a playoff team that needs guys that have been there before, that can calm the waters when things get a little crazy. I mean, don't forget Paul Millsap is just he's coming off of injury, and he's like, it takes a little bit of time to get back into the rhythm. Like, he didn't look great tonight, but he looked
I don't even think, I'm not even saying Paul Millsap was bad or anything tonight. What I'm saying is that it's a different team. Paul Millsap at the 4, Jokic at the 5.
I understand.
It's a different team.
I understand. It's just that, like, I think that what you're proposing is it's like a Brave New World kind of team, where it's like we sort of go away from the things that we know can be reliable for things that have a much higher upside.
But when do we get there, though? This is my point. Again, I don't want to give too much of the stuff that I'm giving away here, but if you just look at the minutes that Murray and Jokic played together in their first season, their second season, their third, and you look at the progression, and then you look at that same thing and you plug Michael Porter and Jokic in, and you go like, man, really behind schedule here. Like, it's time. Just at some point, I think you do say, hey, this is who we are, and we just have to get there. And you've got 40 more games left in the season, or 30 more games left in the season. Spend the next 10, 15 figuring that out, especially when you have teams that you should be beating.
And so, like, Porter and Millsap can work next to each other, just not starting 3 and starting 4. And,
exactly.
Maybe
You're going to
Millsap
have staggered lineups.
And so remember, just pushing back a little, Eric, like Millsap's first game back, he was with the bench, looked pretty good. And I thought tonight at times at the 5, I think late in the fourth quarter, he looked good as well. So I don't know. Millsap still works on this team, but I'm with you. The Porter 3, Millsap 4 pairing at this point, what do we learn from running that out there again?
And I like you pushing back. This is by no means me trying to I want the other perspective on this, but I do feel pretty adamantly,
well, I don't personally have a video that Aaron's making to support my point of view. I just like reliable players. And I know that what we see working in the regular season seldomly has anything to do with what works in the postseason. And so I just like having, I would prefer to build up that confidence and that momentum with that core, because we've seen it work before. But I mean, obviously things change, and I absolutely get the point. I don't know. I still have trust in Dad. That's all.
Yeah, I really think Michael Porter. It's funny. The more you watch him, the more I really do just think he's a power forward, and he's going to have. He's so good. Not even just this year, but he's going to have small forward skills and the ability to play there. But the more you could play him at the 4, the more it's just like. I mean, in some ways, he is offensively. I'm speaking here, just strictly offensively. He's such a perfect stretch 4 to play alongside Jokic and Murray, because you can't leave him open. His gravity is so strong. He's so good at hitting that shot, and the more they integrate him, the better he's going to be.
Man, I also kind of like him defending at the 4 too.
Yeah,
I mean, there are times where his help defense is pretty good, and his rim
some
protection
monster
is
blocks,
pretty good, man. And like, he can do some of those things physically, athletically, that actually no one else on this team can do at this point.
Oh, MPJ's the best.
Whereas like 3, it's a little bit like watching a giraffe on skates,
It's so true. I did really like, though, the Millsap at center lineup tonight with Michael Porter there, and maybe this is some of the stuff you start to experiment with. Backup centers, are just they're That's the role that's going extinct, is the backup center. I mean, there's so many teams now that people talk about the center going extinct. There's a lot of good centers now. There's not a lot of good backup centers. And if you can put
I was told that you could get any tall player to play backup center and it would just be fine. And that's what we did, and it does not look fine to me.
But I'm saying Paul Millsap. I like him there. Like, he can guard most of these dudes, and then you put Michael Porter at backup power forward because now you're staggering him with those lineups. And it's like, good luck, people. Like, you're going to have people doing some things defensively that they're just not capable of doing. So I'm curious to see. I like that quote. I can't wait to hear from Michael Malone that they are intending to play him that way. I do think there's a numbers game between, okay, if Millsap doesn't start and JaMychal Green doesn't start, well, how many minutes do they play and where? I do think you start to get kind of low on their minutes, but that's a problem maybe to be solved at the deadline or this offseason. But the clock is ticking. I just want to see Michael Porter get as many reps as possible.
I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah.
It just feels like you're moving towards Millsap coming off the bench anyway,
Right.
So.
Right. Nonetheless, Denver does get now 2 out of 3 wins. I think we look at that last loss, against Dallas, and you
can we not?
No, I'm just saying you can chalk it up and say, like, I on the last show I said I don't like Malone admitting these things and bring him in, and I stand by it. But at the same time, the more you think about it, the more you're like,
it was completely
they had no chance in that game.
This is exactly what just happened to Indiana.
Yeah, no chance.
I know. Again.
What a crappy day Indiana's had.
The worst.
When you're at the airport or like your flight and you don't know when you're going to get in, and then you get in and then you just lose.
Man, I know Nuggets fans don't want to hear it, but the Pacers got hosed tonight. There's some terrible calls. All right, let's talk about Green Mountain Dental Group. We've had several DNVR listeners switch over to Green Mountain Dental Group over the years. They've made them their permanent family dentist. Those listeners have reached out to us. They've let us know how great their experience was, and they've thanked us for leading them to such a wonderful practice. If you don't know, Green Mountain Dental Group is in Lakewood. They're the best damn family-owned dentist in the metro, and they're extreme Colorado sports fans, just like you, just like all of us here at DNVR. But wait, there's more. Schedule a cleaning, schedule an exam, and you get a cleaning, x-ray, and free Sonicare toothbrush today. So that's a great deal. Check out our friends at Green Mountain Dental Group. They will take care of you. Also talked about Strava Craft Coffee. You guys know I love to push this on you. And there's a new angle, and it's a great angle. You can save even more money.
What?
The code is now DNVR25 to receive 25% off either your one-time shipment, or if you're smart, that subscription service. You can choose what dosage, what flavor when it comes to you every 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. And now it's 25% off every single order. So go ahead and check out our friends at Strava Craft Coffee. CBD infused coffee. It'll leave you, Eric,
honking like a goose. Honk, honk, honk. Let's go.
Is this the number one phrase people say to us?
100%.
Is honking like a goose. We get a lot of.
We have been approached without somebody saying hello, but saying, came up and just said, hey, honking like a goose. And you know what? We became immediate friends.
Brennan, lots of love for your ad reads tonight.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Quick and efficient. That's why. He didn't even throw it to break the last time. He just sensed a break was coming.
Well,
Yeah,
he's been going quick, efficient, and he's been shushing us without saying shush.
That's right. You can feel it.
I can feel it.
Don't interrupt me today. Don't do it.
Sabonis was really frustrated at the end of this game. He actually pulled himself out tonight.
He also got clocked in the face. Like, it was a bad Sabonis night, man.
It was a tough
That
one.
seal foul he got called for, I think it was Millsap, when Turner blocked Jokic and then dunks it. That was a terrible call.
For somebody, this is how the brain is weird, or mine is. When you said seal foul, I pictured a seal.
Yeah, you
And I was
remember
like, what is a
remember
seal?
that seal foul where he slapped him with his
That's what I was like,
flipper?
And Eric was picturing the musical artist. So we
Yeah, I
just
was.
had-
It was on the
Can I tell you, my kids, 4 and 6, love Seal.
Really?
Big Seal. That's like
Seal, yes.
that's a good song for kids. You
Seal
know?
test big with the 4 to 6.
They're like, they're all into it.
Yeah. Oh my
Jot
god.
that one down.
Kids are the best. Sabonis, though, man, like, he's one of my guys I really root for. It's funny, we were joking. I like Sabonis. This is gonna feel like slander, but he does feel like
It's just he sucks.
well, no, he does feel like he's not quite Jokic light. He's almost like between Plumlee and Jokic, and we were joking about that tonight.
I mean, he's good, but he didn't look that great tonight. And
It's his touch. It's like he's Jokic without the like magical touch. Jokic somehow's floaters are perfect. It's, just
yeah,
take that away. It's
the other
tough.
thing is that another mark against Sabonis is that he has my haircut from the year 1994.
I dig it.
He's got the full butt cut.
I dig it.
I don't dig that. That's that drops you into bad hair, as D-Line says.
You're an interesting one here, Eric, because this is like it's a European haircut, or not that one. I'm just saying.
Eric Weedham, 1994. butt
Eric,
cuts.
didn't you?
You were a man of the world.
Eric, I've seen many pictures of you with that haircut.
I know. I was in 1984.
What I'm saying is, I'm very pro different types of haircuts.
Okay.
I say that as a person who has like no.
I was going to say you've
Not
looked
for
the
me
exact
personally.
same the entire time I've known you.
I'm just saying you seem to really dislike when people deviate from the same three haircuts.
No. Oh no, sir. Oh no. I'll not have you put this on me. I don't like rat tails. That's really what it comes down to. I don't like rat tails, and I don't like a butt cut.
You know, people ask me what I do for a living.
What
I
do
don't know how to answer
what
that
do you
question.
do
I
for-
sit next to a
What
man
do you do for a
who talks
living?
about hair.
One of my best friends growing up had a rat tail, and his nickname, Tails.
Yeah, that works.
If you have a rat tail growing up, you're
That
going to be
works.
called Tails. And it was like the coolest nickname of third grade, and like significantly less cool in 12th grade. But I digest. We should be having Harrison here any second.
I digest.
Digress.
I digest. We could pop around the league though a little bit here, guys, just to kind of kill time, because I look at the Portland Trailblazers, who are on the Nuggets schedule here in about 2 weeks. You know who's going to be back for that game? Almost certainly.
Oh, Nurk.
Yusef Nurkic.
gonna be back for that.
Tonight, CJ McCollum. Was it tonight or tomorrow? He's gonna. I think it's tomorrow. He's good to go, so he's back. I look at. They're the number one most confusing team because you look at them. They have the exact same record. Actually, they have one fewer win than the Denver Nuggets and that 6th seed. And they've been playing out without their second and third best player. I'm curious. Just Eric, when you look at Portland, do they concern you at all? Do you buy them?
I only buy them because they're just always there. They're like the Facu of our division. Like they're just like
Facu's always there.
Yeah, like just in like they
I see.
they never fall away.
Yeah.
They're always like
He is
they're
a
good.
pest,
They're
man.
bad.
There's no better way to describe him that he's annoying.
Portland's a pest
defensively.
You all like I wanted to declare them dead so many times, but they just like won't go away. So, and ever since we had our playoff series against them, which was like unbelievably intense, I just can't ever count them out. But I'd like to count them out. I just can't.
Yeah, I think they're good. I mean, I think they're going to be in that 6-5-4 kind of slot all season.
Well, it's funny you say that, Vogt, because this is my point. Utah, only 10 losses. It would take a catastrophe. Like, they'd really have to collapse. Phoenix is right up there with them, only 12 losses. Lakers, Clippers, I just don't see them falling below 5.
Right.
So when you say that, I actually look at it and say Denver is the team that is, I think, better than Portland, but that's the only team I could see them really leaping, unless a Clippers, Lakers injury, something like that. So you're really looking at Denver either being, Denver can climb up to that 4. I just think Denver's better.
Sure.
3-4 range.
Sure.
But Trailblazers, it's just like, can they steal the 5 spot from Denver, 5-4-3 or whatever? I don't know.
I think they can. I think that'd be a crazy, opening round. And it'd be wild if there's a world where they go with Portland and then Utah in the second round.
Would you guys like
Oh
this?
my
If Debbie, I was going to say, what about Denver? If Denver had the Clippers in the first round and the Jazz in the second, a little inverse of last year, would that be fun or
I'm
not?
like I'm like already can't deal with these playoffs. It's like already
They're
too
so-
intense.
they're so
Just
tough.
Imagining this playoffs. Is
Well,
like
you
too
just
intense.
remember how just your head in your hands, like, wow, they literally cannot stop the Utah Jazz. Like, you just remember how close it was to being.
That being said, Dallas, San Antonio, Portland to me is significantly worse than Clippers, Lakers, Suns, and that looks like where Denver has to get. So for me, them getting to the 4th seed feels like a real target they should have.
Sure.
Because
Hey,
that
guys.
elevates them.
Sure.
Do you feel a breeze?
Whoa,
Little breeze.
I'm
Stiff
glad I wore
breeze
this
here.
bomber jacket.
I got my hoodie. I might have to put my hood up here. I'm so breezy.
Whoa,
Harrison!
Harrison is
What a
in.
shot.
Oh, wait, we
a,
can't hear him yet. Hold on. Kayla's doing things in order here. Hey, Harrison! Nope. Harrison, are you there?
No.
Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Hey, what do you think of my mask?
It looks like you're about to do surgery.
Yeah, well, I don't know if Vogt, were you at the game the other night, and did they have N95 masks for you? Because now apparently you have to wear N95 masks at Ball Arena.
Yeah, that did happen to me.
First off, how are
Correct.
you in a J.J. Abrams movie right now?
The lighting is intense for you. That arena behind you. Look at that. All right, Harrison. Well, we have to take you. The first thing we have to ask. Your note today has been very discussed on this show that Jamal Murray pregame looked very relaxed. What was it that led you to share that detail?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Jamal Murray warm up for a lot of games over the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know if I've ever seen him more loose than he was pregame tonight. I'm trying to remember everything he did. He came out for his warm-up. He warms up at the same time as Michael Porter Jr. He comes out onto the court. To me, it seemed like he was ripping Michael Porter Jr. for that pull-up three-pointer that he does sometimes on fast breaks and how obvious it is that he's shooting those. He was reenacting that Porter transition three that he does all the time. And they were joking about it. They were laughing. There was no music during pregame warm-ups, which is not how it usually is. And Murray, who – oddly enough, walked out onto the court in just like these candy red Beats by Dre headphones, yells up to the Nuggets in-arena DJ and is complaining about why there's not any music.
What?
It seemed like he was imitating. It looked like James Harden, like during his warm-up, just like joking with Porter. He just seemed like he was in a really good mood. And I can get to it now, but he was super transparent post-game. In terms of him not touching a basketball during the All-Star break, how that showed in his first 2 games back. He said, quote, "I took 5 days off and it showed." How he got back into a routine today specifically, and he thinks he's back in a rhythm now.
So this is a little strange to me. I mean, look, I don't know. I'm honestly, this is one of those things that we can roll our eyes at in large part because he played poorly. But I don't know, like, why did he explain why he took that time off? Like physically, he just felt like he needed it. Mentally, he felt like he needed it. What was it?
It's mostly mental, I believe. And I'm going to have to go back and transcribe and see exactly what he had to say. But I just feel like in general, and for him, it's just this regular season's been such a whirlwind, man. The situation that like these guys are in with what's like being demanded of in their daily lives in terms of testing and not really being able to go anywhere. They're up against it, man. There's a lot being asked of them. And from the playoffs to the short off season, which we know he really felt like he needed a mental break during that offseason as well, to just a chaotic first half of the season. I just think he needed a mental break, and that's what he did over the break, it seemed.
I do think, and hopefully the vaccine is arriving into the NBA soon, and maybe by playoffs, this like 3 tests a day can go away. But I do think that is one part of this whole season that even I just stopped thinking about. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that would be really annoying to have to drive down to the arena and do a test, and then drive back home. Then 3 hours later, drive back down, do another test. And I'm sure it is mentally just exhausting.
Are they getting swabbed up their noses? Is that how they're being tested?
Yeah, I believe that's the regular PCR test that they take once a day.
That is the single worst thing I've ever done.
I think I've had like 5 of them, and only one of them was really bad.
The one I had that was really bad was really bad, and
yeah, it was pretty bad. The one I
like,
had
I feel like it ruined like 3 days that followed. Like, there's like I don't understand though. How is Jamal able to lose the ability to play basketball after 5 days?
So actually, I have to give a shout out to my colleague Matt Moore, because I think there's different personality types, and like Jokic is obviously a little bit more of the creative, whatever. Shooters, I always remember Ray Allen. Like, I think his dad was in the military. He was a guy that you could just picture waking up 6 o'clock, making his bed, like brush teeth routine. Everything's just so regimented. And I think a lot of shooters are that way. It's a mechanical thing, a skill. And so rhythm and routine are so important. And I think with Jamal, it's maybe more important than a player like a Jokic.
I mean, I get it, but we're talking about 5 days. It's crazy.
I did look, man, in the locker, like rhythm is one of the buzzwords that you hear most often. Any locker room, any group of players, someone's going to mention rhythm.
Yeah. What else, Harrison?
So maybe the most interesting thing to come out of the post-game press conference came from Michael Malone, who just provided – I think a rare instance of clarity on what he's thinking with his starting lineup. And he pretty much said that if Monte Morris was healthy, Monte would still be starting, and Michael Porter Jr. would be starting at the 4.
Yeah,
It was
interesting.
a moment of clarity in terms of Nuggets starting 5 that I feel like we never get from Michael Malone.
Yeah, he never just comes.
You know,
out and
we're
says
always
it.
guessing.
Yeah.
We're always
So
guessing
true.
what he's going to do. But yes, if the Nuggets, well, I'm not going to say if they were fully healthy because I don't know what that would mean for Gary Harris. But if Monte Morris was healthy, he'd still be in the starting lineup. They would have been continuing to roll with that starting 5 that finished the first half of the year.
It is funny, though, to think that he mentioned Monte and not Gary because we don't really have an update on Gary. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can clarify this, Win, but I don't. If you would have told me he's back in this next game or in a month, I wouldn't be able to tell you which is more likely. But it sounds like by him saying Monte, it sounds like a month maybe is more likely.
Yeah, I don't have an update. I don't expect him back soon.
No.
Like, I don't think he's ramping up or anything.
Right.
But that was super interesting from Malone, I thought. But he also did follow with that. Another reason why they decided to throw Paul out there was because of Indiana's front court.
Right.
And the fact that in that matchup 2 weeks ago against the Pacers, Sabonis, Turner, they got a ton of offensive rebounds, a ton of second chance points. So he thought, hey, let's throw Paul out there. And then he backed that up and said, look, like, yes, Porter at the 4 is our default look right now, but we're going to have to learn how to play with 2 bigs.
Yep.
We're going to have to learn how to play with Porter, Millsap, Jokic. We're going to have to learn how to play with 2 bigs on the court at the same time because there are going to be instances against teams in the West, against teams in the East, where we'll need to play with 2 bigs. So
I think
it's kind of
great.
a process. He's kind of saying, yeah, we got to go through the process here.
I think that's great, and it is a really important point. I think that as much as we want to see more Porter at the 4, because it's more fun and it does feel way more explosive and more.
Because it makes basketball fun to watch.
It makes basketball enjoyable to watch.
The reason to watch it.
But it is true that just with the way the roster is constructed, they can't play it that way all the time. So they are going to have to rely on it on these 2 big lineups and what have you. I love that point. That's encouraging. I think him coming up and saying that. It's also nice from a reporter standpoint to throw that bone out there. Very rare for Malone.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
What else?
Let's see what else we got here. Will Barton, man. Will Barton went on this minute-long soliloquy about JaMychal Green.
What?
Oh.
How JaMychal Green is his guy. How JaMychal Green just plays for the team. How he makes all the right plays. How he looks to set him up because he wants to reward that. He does all the little things. He plays with so much energy. He always plays for the team, Barton said. It was a classic Will sermon.
I do like that. JaMychal Green, these are the things that we don't see behind the scenes, but that stuff does matter. They're just the glue guys. And,
of course it matters. There's been 2 players that have come out and said, basically bestowed the highest honor possible on JaMychal Green.
The 2 realists.
One was Jokic, who wants to play with him for the rest of his career.
Jokic also the realist, right?
He's the realest there is, yeah. And Barton, who is
Also the
another
realist.
guy, yeah, will absolutely pump up his bros. I love it.
That's big. So stop throwing JaMychal Green in trades, everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll see him as whatever. Anything else? I saw JaMychal Green spoke. What did he have to say?
He's like, I hate these guys.
JaMychal had a couple interesting things to say. He gave a shout-out to Facu. He thinks his chemistry with Facu is really coming along. He was asked about Michael Porter Jr.'s growth from last year's playoffs to now after playing against Porter and the Nuggets in that Western Conference semifinal series, of course. And he said, Porter's just stepping up to the plate, being ready. I feel like every time he shoots, the ball's going in. Got to agree with him there.
Yeah.
And then he was asked about, like, do the Nuggets need anything before the trade deadline? And he said, we have everything we need. We just haven't really had everybody healthy for prolonged stretches to kind of build the chemistry, but the sky's the limit with this group.
Yeah. I like it. The team feels confident, it seems.
I mean, what else is he supposed to say to that?
That's true. That's a great point.
Drop some of these.
We got to get
bombs.
rid of Dozier. He's really killing us.
I would
Guy
trade me.
sucks.
Now that I think about it,
Me.
Think of the value.
You guys hear about Aaron Gordon? He's on the block. I mean,
this team does need a wing.
that's a great thing. Is there anything else there, Harrison, that you think was noteworthy from the arena, from the game, from the post game? Any of it?
The only other note I've got for the post game here, Michael Malone talked about this pregame and he talked about it post game, but he doesn't want Jamal Murray's potential off shooting nights to impact the rest of his game. He wants him to continue to set up others. This is like his challenge to Murray when he's not in that rhythm shooting. And then he goes, I want Jamal to get 6 rebounds a night. And I heard that. I was like, whoa, 6 rebounds a night for Jamal Murray, a point guard on a team with Nikola Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. and Paul Millsap starting tonight. And then Murray was asked about that 6 rebound number, and he kind of said exactly what I was thinking. We got a lot of big guys on the floor.
What's also funny about this is I feel like he's told Porter this, like, hey, you can impact the game by rebounding. And now Murray, and now everybody's fighting for the same rebounds. I mean, that's true. Like, Denver's like bobbled rebounds because they're fighting each other have really gone up in the last month. So I don't know about this.
Apparently by design.
By design, everybody fighting. Any notes on this game? Just overarching thoughts on the game before we get out of here, Win?
I'm glad Doug McDermott's in the East. I'll say that.
Yeah. Former Nugget Doug McDermott.
Dougie McNugget.
Yeah, former Nugget Doug McDermott.
Nuggets legend. Yeah.
Freaking Doug McDermott ruined my first quarter bet. I can't stand that guy.
That is true. All right, Harrison, we'll drive home safe. We know there's, the roads aren't too bad, but, take it easy. And we'll see from you very, very soon.
See you guys.
That does it for us tonight, guys, as a whole crew. Nuggets get a win. A bit of a ho-hum one, but we did get Campazzo.
Just a ho-hum garden variety blowout.
Garden variety blowout, baby. But there were plenty of positives. The vibes, maybe not quite immaculate, but they were strong. They were strong. Strong vibes. Yeah. So, all right, guys, like I said, you don't want to miss if you watch the show or you consume the show primarily as a post-game show up on YouTube tomorrow. Going to be hopping in to do a notebook episode. Over on Lockdown, I'm actually talking to Jake the Sasquatch.
Okay.
Going to be talking about whatever.
Cool. I've got other projects too
Jake's
I can talk about.
But but you got to want to check out, guys. Tomorrow, going to go back and rewatch this game, get the detailed notes. And I always enjoy doing that, so you're going to want to check that out. Then we're going to be back here on Wednesday. Who do they got on Wednesday? You guys remember? Charlotte. LaMelo.
Yo, that's like one of
LaMelo.
the best shows in the NBA.
One of the best shows. Two of the best passers in the NBA going head to head. I can't
Sounds
wait
like
for
a
it.
dub to me, baby.
Hit the like button on the way out, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you all on Wednesday.